there is no people on earth who would not prefer their own bad government to the good government of an alien power. I think we feel that from my teenagers. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather make my own bad choices than your imposed choices. The British official says, you don't think we're just going to walk out of India? Gandhi says, yes, in the end, you will walk out because 100,000 Englishmen simply cannot control 350 million Indians if those Indians refuse to cooperate. So, okay, transitioning then, what is the solution? The story tells that after 300 years of India being a colony of England, the last Indian viceroy sent by the British Empire to control India was losing control. A revolution was going to start. So they replaced him with Lord Mountbatten, Louis Mountbatten. He came and he took control of India. But instead of saying, I'm here to control you, he came and said, I am the last viceroy from the British Empire over India. I'm here to help you transition into freedom. In India, loved him.
Yeah, he said, we're going to relinquish control in an orderly fashion. And that's what we need to do with our teens. We need to relinquish control and figure out a plan, a strategy. And that's what this book talks about. You know, the country, if our teen is the country, you can think of it like a map. And there are different territories that we can start giving them ownership. You know, it could be the music they listen to, their room, how clean or dirty they keep it.
Friends.
Their friends that they have, the clothes that they wear, their schoolwork.
Curfew.
And the goal is that all of these things, they would have complete ownership at least by the age of 18. But you start at the age of 13, giving them control over different territories. And it's not that you just give it all up. You have boundaries. Like if you decided, you know what, I'm not going to nag you about your room anymore. It's yours. You know, you can decide how you want your bedroom, you know, how clean or how dirty. Now, if you would like that control, then with it comes the responsibility of now you're responsible for your own laundry. And it can't affect the rest of the household. If there are bad odors, you know, we're going to make you clean it. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything about how you keep your room. And the trick is that then, you know, you make sure they know how to do their laundry if they haven't already been doing it and helping you, but then you are hands off. You don't rescue them. If they didn't plan ahead, they're about to go to camp for a week and you're not like, this would be me. Hey, have you done your laundry? Remember, you got to pack for camp. You're going to need a whole week's worth of underwear. You know, you don't remind them. You just let them have the control, which means they're going to own any failure. And you don't rescue them. You don't go buy them a whole pack of underwear. You know, maybe they have to go do that with their own money, but you just let them live with the consequences. Maybe they have to pack dirty clothes. You know, maybe they have to wear something dirty before they realize, you know, I got to do better in this area. And a lot of times what is amazing is the book says they might come to you then for advice and like, hey, can you help me? Like, I need a system. I'm not doing this very well. I never have clothes when I need them, you know, and they probably come to you for advice, but only if they know that you're not trying to control it.
And at that point, you start to become a friend. Yeah. Once you show yourself that worthy of being their friend by listening to them, by allowing them to fail. And like here, it gives an example about the clothes, right? So you don't rescue them. You give them the rules. Hey man, it's your room. I don't care how you keep it. You want to keep it like a pig's pen, that's fine. But if I walk by your room, it can't smell. You got to do your own laundry. That's it. And then
no food in your room.
And no food in your room. Or if you notice,
you decide the boundaries.
Yeah, if you notice their ants collecting, if that's happening, then you tell them, whoa, hey man, I'm sorry, we talked about this, so I'm going to charge you for this month's pest control. So they can come and, you know, control your room. And he says, don't be afraid to occasionally comment on their increased shabbiness or new musky cologne smell. Just be sure, make a joke out of it, always reminding them that, hey, that's your business. Don't ever take this autonomy back. They will need time to experience real life consequences. For many adolescent boys, all it will take the first time a cute girl asks them, what's that smell? Next thing you know, he'll be asking for a primer on how to use a washer and dryer. So above all, if they come dashing out of the room one day in a panic and say, quick, I'm supposed to have this shirt ironed for my concert, you must stand there, drink your coffee, and say, bummer. What are you going to do? If you rescue them from the consequences of their irresponsible choices, all is lost. You cannot iron for them now because you are finishing your coffee. Some of my favorite responses include, I always hang my shirts up after I wash them, but that's just me. Or address your spouse in your teenager's presence and say, hey, honey, remember that time when you forgot to iron your shirt before that big interview? Lastly, consider the always useful. What are you, 6? You can figure this out on your own. Overly nurturing moms always think that it's a loving behavior towards a child, that this is a loving behavior toward a child in trouble. My answer is that this is respectful behavior toward a capable adult.
Yeah. And what we are learning is that our kids want to be seen as capable. They're asking us, do you see me as capable in this area? And they want our approval. And so we need to give it. We need to give it before we think, oh, they're going to do everything the way we want them to do it. They're not, but we need to give them the responsibility. And plus there's things you can just go, you know what, you can't control it. We found that out. You can't control what music they listen to. You might have talked about the type of music that as a family, what you feel is good since they were little, but there comes a time because of technology, you don't have control. There are so many ways that they can listen to what they want to, so you might as well give up that control. And I think that's hard. That's hard to do. It's a hard transition because sometimes, we feel like we know the best thing, we want what's best for them, but they are going to have to want that for themselves. And I think too, realizing that giving up that control doesn't mean that they're always going to do exact opposite and it's never going to go well. Maybe they will, but maybe they'll do that and then they'll come and they're going to realize and they're going to want to talk about it. Hey, I've noticed, that this isn't having a good effect on me, and I'm going to make some changes. Or they might want your advice, what you think about a certain genre of music or person that they're listening to. What do you think? And even when they ask that, it might be hard not to be like, well, you can't listen to it, but you can say, hey, I feel like if I would listen to that all the time, that I would have good thoughts. It would be hard for me, but hey, I don't know, maybe you can control your thoughts.
That's for you to decide. At your age, I think you need to decide that. That's another 3 favorite words, at your age. And a concept that I really liked, Pam, is the fact that he says we must transition from being a policeman to being a judge. Meaning a policeman is trying to prevent crime, right? It's trying to prevent bad things from happening. When kids are little, that's what we do. We go around and train in, and that's the right time to do it. But when they become teenagers, we're going to start transitioning, and we're going to grow in our leadership and become more strategic. Towards you set up a game that you are not the consequence. You are not going to be the nagging voice that they're afraid of hearing. Actually, that's something really difficult to do because parents, we tend to like to give speeches. That's something he talks about too in the book.
Yeah, and we love our speeches, our sermons, but we're just talking to ourselves because they are really not listening. That's not the way to get to their hearts. And as much as we like to hear our own sermons, we got to stop ourselves and wait till they come to us and asking for our advice.
Yeah. So lastly, before we transition into the last point, how are we supposed to communicate? Because because the book says